Hello students, welcome to this lecture on digital communication. In this lecture we will discuss the topic probability density function. Before we proceed to probability density function, we will first discuss a few points about cumulative distribution function. Now cumulative distribution function can be abbreviated as CDF. So I will refer to this as CDF only. Now CDF gives a measure of cumulative probabilities of a random variable taking up values up to x. CDF is defined as capital F, subscript capital F, and in brackets I have written small x. So that implies that I am talking about a cumulative distribution function which is in respect to capital X, the random variable here, and it is being evaluated at the point small x. So when I want to find out the cumulative distribution function at this point, it will be equal to probability that my random variable is going to take values up to x. So I will add up all the possible probabilities lying before x. For example, in tossing of a coin twice, if I write fx of 1, it will imply the probability that my random variable is going to take a value 1 or less than 1. So the only possible values for x in this case are 0 and 1. If I want to calculate the CDF, so only possible points will be 0 and 1. I will evaluate the function at 0 and 1 only. So fx of 1 will be given by px of 0 plus px of 1 because these are the only two possible values in this case. Now properties of a CDF. The first property is fx of x is always greater than or equal to 0 because the value of CDF at any point is calculated by adding up the probabilities, and we know the fact that probability will always lie between 0 and 1. So the value of CDF can never be negative. It will always be greater than or equal to 0. So this is the first property for CDF. Now second property is fx of infinity is equal to 1. Now when I want to calculate the value of CDF at infinity, I will add up all the possible values of probability that my random variable is going to take all the possible values. So in that case the probability will come out to be maximum because I would have included all the possible values of my random variable. So probability, the value of function at that point will be equal to 1. Now fx of minus infinity is equal to 0 because I know the fact that when I am talking about the point minus infinity, I know that no value for my random variable has been included. So at that point the value of my function will be 0. fx of x is a non-decreasing function. It comes from the same fact that probability always lies between 0 and 1. So the value of the function, either it will remain constant or it will be increasing. It will never decrease because I am certain that the probability will never be a negative value. Fx of x1 is always less than or equal to fx of x2 if x1 is less than x2. Because the function is a non-decreasing function, I am sure that the function will be a constant function or it will increase. It will never be a decreasing function. So I know that x2 is greater than x1. So it is clearly indicating that the function value will be either equal or it will be greater than x1 in that case because the function is a non-decreasing function. So let us consider an example. Consider a CDF for a discrete random variable x which denote the number of heads in tossing of a coin twice. The possible sample space is HH, HT, TH and TT. The possible values for random variable are 0, 1 and 2 because x here denotes number of heads, and the possible corresponding probabilities are also listed. Now if I want to find out the value of CDF at x is equal to 0, it will imply that probability that my random variable is going to take values up to x. Now x is 0 here, so there is only one possible value and the corresponding probability is 1 by 4. The value of CDF at this point will be 1 by 4. The next point we will wish to evaluate is x is equal to 1. So fx of 1 will be given by px that x is going to take a values less than or equal to 1. So in this case two values will be included here, px of 0 and px of 1. So the value of function at this point will come out to be 3 by 4. Now fx of 2. So px of px and x taking value less than or equal to 2. So in this case all the three values will be included, so the probability will turn out to be 1. And for all the values greater than 2, the probability will remain, the value of the function at that point will remain 1 because the function is a non-decreasing function and the maximum value of the function can only go up to 1. Now if I plot the CDF obtained in this example, it will come out to be a staircase waveform. At point 0 it is having value 1 by 4, at point 1 it is having value 3 by 4, and point 2 it is having value 1. So it is giving me a staircase waveform, and it can be clearly seen that it is a non-decreasing function. Now next topic is probability density function. So if I differentiate my cumulative distribution function, I will get my probability density function, and that is denoted by small p subscript x or small f subscript x. So if I wish to find the probability density function of my random variable, I can simply differentiate the cumulative distribution function of my random variable. Now I can also perform the reverse process, because if I know the PDF of my random variable, I can evaluate the CDF also by following the reverse process. Now PDF, when I wish to calculate or when I wish to evaluate PDF, I am talking generally about a continuous random variable, because PDF is generally a function, it is seen that it is a continuous curve. So in case of a continuous random variable, I know that the values that are being taken up by my random variable are very close, and I will get a continuous curve in that case. So PDF is generally used in reference to continuous random variable. Now if I want to talk about discrete random variable, so PDF for a discrete random variable will be a probability mass function, and it will exist at only certain points, discrete points. So I will get the value at only discrete points in case of a discrete random variable. But when I am talking about continuous random variable, the curve will turn out to be a continuous. So I will refer to it as PDF. Now PDF for a discrete random variable, that the experiment that we have discussed of tossing a coin twice, it is an example of discrete random variable. So the CDF in that case obtained was a staircase waveform. Now if I differentiate it, I will get the PDF or probability mass distribution. So because I have stated this before, that if I differentiate the CDF of any random variable, I will get the corresponding PDF. So when I am talking about discrete random variable, and if I differentiate this curve, I will get impulse functions at different points. So in this case, I can clearly see that the random variable is having three possible values, 0, 1 and 2, and the corresponding probabilities are also listed in the graph. If I differentiate the CDF, I can find out the individual probabilities that are being taken up by my random variable. Now in case of a continuous random variable, I will have a continuous curve. The CDF of a continuous random variable is given here, and in this case it is a triangular function. Now when I differentiate it, I will get a rectangular pulse. So I can see in this case that the PDF, the probability density function of this random variable, is a continuous curve within the certain limits. So for a continuous random variable, the probability density function is coming out to be continuous curve, and for a discrete random variable, the probability density function was coming out to be a discrete curve, and that was existing at discrete points only, because the discrete random variable takes up only a finite number of values. So that's all for this lecture. Thank you.